Hey guys, welcome back! In the last episode, we concluded the first part of this episode in the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, and now we begin the second part. We met Nina, or I already forgot about her name already. I have to look it up once again. I'm sorry. It's Nukelina Pavlova. We met her in the cabin, which is this one. And there we talked to her, we exposed her with the dance of deduction, which was really, really awesome. And she seems to have some secrets, but we couldn't get a hold of what kind of secrets those are. There has been a conundrum, and we tried to talk to her, but she was very secretive. And afterwards, she was called to the captain's cabin. And now we are trying to further our investigation ourselves in another way, apparently. So let's get right into it. It's the 9th of January on the SS Burrier First Class Cabin Passageway. I wish we hadn't been thrown out like that. I wish we'd managed to find some clue as to what the spectacle bat might be. We didn't manage to investigate at all. And I imagine that we won't be able for a while longer. We'll never get past that sailor guarding the door. He's clearly glaring at us, as if to say, "Don't even think about it." Oh, wait a minute. What is it? Well, what happened to our great detective friend? Where did he go? Oh yes, he's completely disappeared. When did he do that? He slipped away as quietly as the wind, but not before ensuring these were securely back on my wrists. Yeah, we got rid of those when we tried to investigate in the cabin here, but he slipped them back on at some point. We really didn't get to see it. Alright, so let's see if we can check things here. We could check this cabin, we could talk to him. Okay, so that misclick also kind of helped. Can we do anything about these? We can look at the door once again. That door leads to the second class area. It's locked. I can't open it. No. Well, that stands to reason. No one wants to let the murderer escape. Gosh, she gave me a very stern look when she said that. Alright. I really wish we had a chance to look around in Miss Pavlova's cabin. What? Why you look like that? You want something? Maybe you want me to throw you out again, huh? Oh, no, definitely not that. Next time I have to throw you out, I'll show you where lobsters spend winter, understand? Understand. Maybe I should steer clear of him until he's forgotten my face. I don't think he'll ever forget your face, Naruto-san. I don't know what to think of that. Alright, so we can check out this door too. First class cabin number 1. Yes, that's our cabin. Not our cabin. It's Kazuma-sama's. Sorry? Your accommodation is confined to the wardrobe inside the cabin. You know how to make a stove feel small, don't you? As small as the wardrobe I've been calling home. Anyway, I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga has managed to uncover any new clues. Ah, true. Yes, we should probably find him and ask. Alright, so we're gonna do that by moving back to our cabin. 9th January, SS Buria. Sorry guys. First class cabin number 1. It looks like they're still investigating in here. Yes, on that subject, I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga is unscathed. What do you mean, unscathed? Surely you haven't forgotten, have you, Naruto-san? Don't you remember what he said about allowing you out of this cabin to investigate? He was going to talk to the captain about it. He said he'd lay his life on the line for you. Oh, yes. but I'm sure he was exaggerating. Let's see what he has to say for himself. He might have some new information for us. You never know. But where is he? Okay, let's talk to this guy then first. You, where did you go? Oh, sorry, I just went to the next door cabin to investigate. Why? Who gave you permission for this? Well, Seaman Hosonaga did. That new Japanese, was it? Later I will roll him into a ball and throw him in cold room. Whew. He's gone back to guarding the door. I hope Inspector Hosonaga doesn't find himself in too much trouble on our account. He's really gone out of his way to help us, hasn't he? When we get back to Japan, we'll have to take him for a steak at La Carnival. That could be a very long time from now, Naruhodo-san. That is true, but we don't have anything to... we could look at the bookshelf. All the books provided for passengers occupying this cabin neatly arranged on the shelf. They were all over the place when we first looked around, if you remember. Oh yes, and you tidied them up, didn't you? Well... You have to look after the ship's property. Unruly behavior in the cabin leads to damage. But it really wasn't me who knocked them over. Well, anyway, I feel much better now. They're neatly lined up. I can't relax when things are untidy. Okay, if you say so. Okay, we can take another look here. So it's clear that these letters were written with ink that was somehow spilt on the floor, and they spell the Russian word for wardrobe. It does seem to be an unambiguous pointer to you, Naruhodo-san, as you were sleeping in there. But to be truly unambiguous, it should have just spelled out my name, don't you think? Well, either way, one fact remains. He's right, by the way. It's hard to imagine that Kazuma-sama would have written his last words or word in Russian. Which begs the question of who did write it. Who did write it? There's Hosonaga-san finally, but since I'm still... But can't find... Okay... So there is no check mark here. I'll do this again then. So this ventilator joins Miss Pavlova's cabin. Yes, that's right. And just a few minutes before he died, Kazuma saw something emerging from it. The speckled band, as he described it. If only Miss Pavlova had been able to shed some light on it, but she seemed as baffled as we are. Yes, I wonder if she's telling us everything though. I'm not sure. I know most people aboard would say the same about me, but there was something about that woman that didn't sit right with me. Okay. I mean, she still has some secrets that we... by the way, guys, I'm really sorry, but I am a thorough person, and I want to have all the check marks. This is where Kazuma spent his final moments writing his diary. I can hear a faint whistling sound. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Looking at his writing here on this page, it's almost impossible to believe that he's gone. Kazuma-sama left us a valuable clue in these words. I'm sure of it. We have to solve this mystery, Naruhodo-san. We will. Alright, finally time to talk to Hosonaga-san. Oh, you're back. Inspector! What's happened to you? Your face is... Please, don't worry about it. Holy Mother of God, it's really bad. Please, they're just scratches. Made by a bear, maybe? When I told the captain that I'd given you permission to investigate, he told me he'd pummel me with his fists and toss me overboard. What? But the pummeling was over in a flash, and he must have decided against throwing me overboard. So it was nothing really. It looks like he wasn't joking when he said he'd lay his life on the line if he had to. Well, thanks to your efforts, we now know a little about the neighboring cabin. Yes, so I understand. I bumped into a man claiming to be a great detective a little while ago. I think his name was something like Lock Sholmes? I don't think he was German though. That explains it. Shall we compare notes then? We can tell you what we found out. Yes, let's do it. Okay, let's go. The cabin next door. What? No, Nikolina Pavlova? She's in the cabin next door? Oh, do you know who she is? Please, what self-respecting ballet fan wouldn't know that graceful angel? Oops, I think I upset him there. Oops, I think I upset him there. Well, that tells us the neighboring cabin is unrelated to the case at least. Oh, how? Because angels don't go around committing crimes, do they? Oops, now I've definitely upset him. Inspector, has your investigation in here proved fruitful? If I'm honest, there's very little more I can do. Our duty is to make sure the scene isn't disturbed, ready to hand over to the Hong Kong police. So I'm just keeping watch here, trying not to take my eyes off the job. Oh, I see. Ah, there's one thing. I do have a small piece of new information for you. Oh, what? Yes, do tell us, Inspector, please. New information. Let's get going then. What is this new information you have, Inspector? It's this. The curious medical officer has finished his examination of the body. I managed to obtain the report. Oh, Kazuma's post-mortem report. Kazuma-sama. So, what was the cause of death? Damage to the cervical vertebrae is what's written in the report. Okay, so cervical vertebrae. That must be the spine, right? His neck was broken. Okay, it's the neck. Yes, it would seem so. There were no obvious wounds or other signs of injury. So at first, I think they were considering poison. But it turns out they found no trace of poison in his system at all. Well, what weapon was used then? Nothing has been found as yet, but the fact that there are no signs of wound suggests it may have been a blunt object, something that wouldn't leave a mark. Oh, I see. All the body's nerves run through the spine to the brain. A strong enough impact to the neck could induce death. It is a possibility, and no obvious wound would be left. Poor Kazuma. I have a second copy of the report. If it might be useful, you're welcome to have it. Really? Are you sure? Yes, it's fine. I trust you. After all, if I didn't trust you, I'd never have agreed to you leaving this cabin in the first place, would I? The post-mortem report has been entered into the court record. Oh, Susato, apparently she's thinking about trusting us too. Post-mortem report. A report from SS Burial's medical officer giving the cause of death as cervical spine injury, so the neck is broken. There were no traces of external injury or poison. Before we start, the great detective, I just want to... Okay, victim male, Far Eastern, time of death, sometime between 1 AM and little past 2 AM, cause of death, damage to the cervical vertebrae, resulting in instant death. The victim's neck was almost certainly broken as a result of a strong blow to the area. No obvious external injuries or traces of poison. Okay, Kazuma. Really unfortunate. Alright, let's talk about the great detective with Hosonaga. Oh, Mr. Sholmes was here, was he? Yes, he seemed to be enjoying himself a little too much as he crept about on the floor investigating. But then he suddenly left. I suppose he must have become bored. Did he say anything at all? Actually, now you mention it, yes, just one thing, but he practically shouted. It's shoe polish! Was all he said. Shoe polish? I wonder what he meant. Ah, it was when he was over there by the piece of broken glass, do you see? Yeah, this is shoe polish, huh? Oh, perhaps he was talking about his brick-colored mark, do you think? Ah, yes, that must be it. But how could Mr. Sholmes know that it's shoe polish? That leaves me cold, I'm afraid. I have no idea. What is it, Susato-san? Well, Kazuma-sama was wearing leather shoes with a very dark tan hue. Dark tan? Sort of dark brownish red then. Yes, a little like the color of red wine, but darker. I often repaired them for him. Oh, does this mean that this mark was made by the polish on Kazuma's shoes as they scuffed on the floor? The mark on the floor has been entered into the record. Mark on floor, a piece of small glass object, a piece of a small glass object and what looks like a scuff mark made by Kazuma's shoes were found by the victim's body. Okay, so we at least got some new information. That's really all I can tell you at this stage. I should return to my post. My fellow crewmen's eyes are boring into the back of my head. Yes, that might be for the best. Thank you. Poor Inspector. You look exhausted. Oh, no. Well, I feel terrible that I failed to protect Asagi-san. It was my responsibility. Of course, my pain is nothing compared to yours. You were his friend. The truth is, I seem to have had a heavy head ever since I woke this morning. A heavy head? That's interesting. My head's still throbbing too. Okay, so we can examine this once more, and we're going to do that, I think. And we're gonna go into the court record and look at it there too. It really is such a beautiful color, this glass. It looks like whatever it was has broken clean in two. But the other half is nowhere to be seen. And then there's the brick-colored mark, which is shoe polish, according to that great detective you seem to know all about. I suppose it must be from Kazuma-sama's shoes. Maybe, but what I'd like to know is, how can the detective be so sure that it's shoe polish and not something else? Because he's a great detective, of course. That's hardly a reason, is it? Okay, so there's nothing new here. Let's just check out the new evidence in the court record. Okay, we can use the magnifying glass on this, but nothing more. Looks like he was dragged. This seems like something like a bell. I guess we'll find out. Can't present, but we can move. So we're gonna return to the first class passageway. 9th January, Warrior first class cabin passageway. Ah, look, Naruhodo-san. Seaman Stroganoff was gone. Strong enough? The burly Russian sailor. Strong enough. Strong enough. Strong enough. Ah, okay. The burly Russian sailor who's always crossing his arms and glaring at us. Ah, all these Russian names are impossible to remember. Tra-la-la-la-la. Did you hear that? It sounded like someone singing. Tra-la-li-ri-li-ri-li. I did it the great detective way. This caroling, I know that Lark-like's voice. Well, never mind that now. This is a golden opportunity for us. Yes, you're right. We must seize it. Let's get inside Miss Pavlova's cabin while we can and investigate. Definitely. For that, Stringy Knot crewman comes back. It's Stroganoff, not Stringy Knot. Alright. No time to lose. Let's move right into Miss Pavlova's cabin. Yeah, we know that. Number 2. Not what you think, guys. Sorry. Number 2. Miss Pavlova isn't back yet. Sato-san. Oh, where's she gone? Hey, what are you doing? Those are her private things. There's not a moment to waste, Naruhodo-san. You must investigate as quickly as we can. I suppose you're right. For Kazuma's sake. Not just for Kazuma-sama. What do you mean? It can't be long until now until we arrive at port in Hong Kong. I don't want you to be in those handcuffs when we get there. Really? We must solve this case, Naruhodo-san. But by ourselves if we have to. Yes, we will. Okay. So Sato-san got a hunch that we are someone that is to be trusted. Naruhodo-san, are you there? Sorry, I'm right here. Yes, why? Oh, good. I thought you might have climbed into the wardrobe when I wasn't looking. There's no place like home. Believe me, I don't have some strange compulsion to jump inside every wardrobe I see, you know? Well, anyway, I'm not sure anyone could fit inside this one. It's full of beautiful outfits. I suppose they're all stage costumes. I was rather hoping we might find Miss Pavlova's friend hiding in there, but no such luck. Okay, let's look at the grill here. So this ventilator connects to Kazuma's cabin next door. Yes, although what a fool shipbuilder must be to open a ventilator into another room. Maybe it's so that if there's a gas leak next door, the occupant of this cabin would notice and raise the alarm. All the occupants of both cabins would die of gas poisoning. That is a possibility. Anyway, last night Kazuma wrote that he saw a speckled band coming out of this ventilator. Nothing new about it though. There's one of these next to the bed on Kazuma's cabin too. Yes, it's a bell cord. I can't resist. She barely hesitated there, and she gave it a good tug too. No, I didn't actually expect anyone to come. We don't want them to. They're trying to investigate in secret. We're trying to investigate in secret. Alright. Nothing there. Okay, we know about this already, but we're still gonna have a look at the door. This cabin door has the same simple sort of bolted latch that our cabinet door has. If the bolt's drawn across, there's no way anybody could enter the cabin from outside. Yes, it's not a particularly heavy-duty bolt, is it? But still, it wouldn't slide across of its own accord, would it?
No, and the door's made of metal, so there's no chance of trickery using magnets to unbolt it from the outside. And it seals up perfectly too, to stop any seawater coming in. So you couldn't use the method you told me of passing a thread through a crack around the closed door either.
I seem to know a lot of tricks for opening doors. I'm starting to see why they suspect me. Ah yes, they're displayed in this cabin too, look. The SS Boreas rules of passage. Sorry guys. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden.
I suppose Miss Pavlova realized that she needed to keep the contents of the case a secret after she read this. A special friend, I mean...
I wonder where her friend has disappeared to now. It's probably having fun exploring the ship, I imagine.
I just hope Seaman Stroganoff doesn't find it and throw it overboard.
This is more of a play on Stroganoff, right? Beef Stroganoff? Oh yes, so do I. All the books have toppled over together. Look, every single one.
Do you think that's a god of the sea, perhaps? He's toppled too, though.
It's exactly the same as the bookcase next door, in Kazuma's cabin.
Perhaps Miss Pavlova was practicing difficult ballet pose and fell against the bookcase.
I don't know. Would she really be practicing ballet on the same night she ran away from her ballet company?
Alright then. It must have been you. You lost your temper and knocked them all over in a fit of rage.
Not everything bad that happens on this ship is because of me, you know? Well, anyway, I'll set them all straight again in...
Well, anyway, I'll set them again here too. Don't like seeing things in a disarray.
Okay. Okay, let's check this out.
Oh my, Miss Pavlov's case is open!
It's completely empty inside, but according to the great detective's great deduction, she was hiding her special friend in there.
Yes, a friend that she had to keep secret.
Because you're not allowed to bring animals aboard the SS Borea. I wonder what kind of animal she had in there. And more to the point, where is it now?
I suppose every cabin has a waste paper basket.
Shall we have a look and see what's being thrown in their way?
Naruto-san, it's poetic had to go sifting through someone's rubbish, you know?
Those eyes. She's looking at me like I'm a piece of rubbish now.
However, these are special circumstances, I think.
Exactly, we have no choice. There's hardly anything in here at all.
Oh well, that's a little disappointing.
It is, indeed. Okay, so let's see what's on the desk. There are just a few books on the desk, nothing else, by the looks of it.
Well, Miss Pavlova only ran away from the ballet last night. She's hardly occupied this cabin for any time at all.
That's true. I wonder what kind of books she likes to read.
Let me see. Yes, I see. It would seem that Miss Pavlova enjoys reading books written in Russian.
Sorry. Thanks. I think I probably already knew that.
It's rude to ask too much of people, Naruto-san. Kindly remember
that. Good joke. That was a good one. Okay, this plate.
I wonder what this little saucer is doing on the floor.
Yes, it doesn't look like it's been dropped. More like it was put there deliberately.
Ah, do you think?
Yeah, it's the nap for the dog or whatever animal she has with her.
Do you think there could be a leak in the roof just above there?
What? Leak?
Is this ship quite safe?
I'm sure that even there's a little leak on the roof, it doesn't mean the whole ship is going to sink.
No, you're right. Of course you're right.
She's really trying to persuade herself, isn't she? Okay. Anything else of interest?
It would seem this teapot is empty.
So the natural conclusion is that the Russians are a very thirsty people.
Or because Miss Pavlova only came into this cabin last night, she hasn't had the chance to make any tea yet. I mean, it could be either.
It's definitely that they're excessively thirsty. I'd lay 1,000 to 1 on it.
You're rather obstinate, aren't you, Hosonaga-san?
Nothing else here. So we couldn't get any clues. That's really unfortunate. There's nothing, right? Checked everything. We did check everything, right? Yes, we checked everything. There are no new clues. That is really unfortunate. We ran this. We had a thorough look. And didn't gain anything new from here. That's really unfortunate. Well, that means we have to move to the passageway. And we'll go back to Kazuma's cabin. No, we're still missing something in Miss Pavlova's cabin. We have to have missed something. But I really don't know what it is right now, guys, and we've reached the half-hour mark. So that means that's it for this episode of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. And I hope in the meantime I'll figure out what the problem is and we can further our investigation in the next episode. So let me just click through this. We already had this, yeah, I know. It's really strange because we investigated everything, didn't we? That's really strange. So, thanks so much for watching in this episode, and on the next episode, hopefully we will know more. See you then.